we promised what Kevin O'Connor said about his trade value. Here it is. This is what he wrote. Even though Green's reputation has lost some of its luster, if he were made available, there'd be a small group of teams viewing him as their final piece. A motivated Draymond with something to prove on a new team is appealing. Right? Question mark. If picks or valuable young players were acquired in return, those assets could be packaged with Golden State's existing assets to acquire another proven presence to pair with Steph, Markkanen and Walker Kessler, Claxton and Dorian Finney-Smith, Siakam, or Yakapolol. So these are the names. Those are the names. And he's not saying that you can get any of them for Draymond. He's saying you might be able to get them for things that you get for Draymond.
Right.
So if you trade Draymond, it's for little pieces. It's for little future assets that you could then flip for another player. But that player is not going to be a star. Player's not going to come in here and understand the system and turn the Warriors into a contender in 2 months, in my opinion.
Right. If you were offering me Lauri Markkanen in exchange for Draymond Green by way of what Kevin was talking about in terms of pieces in, pieces out, and then you get Lauri Markkanen, sign me up for that right now.
Markkanen's good. Markkanen's good.
Young player and a player without this level of baggage. And I look at what you're looking at with Draymond Green. You've got 3.5 more years of Draymond Green. And like you said, Mark, he's in a spot where from now until the end of his career, any misdeed will be punished tenfold of what it normally would be. What he did to Yusuf Nurkic, if it were any other player, it's a flagrant 2, and maybe you get a game on top of it if it was deemed to be a real aggressive act. But Draymond Green got suspended indefinitely. An indefinite suspension. And his own head coach came out and said, yeah, I could see it. Makes sense. And, we're giving him his space, and he's given us ours, and now it's been 23 days since the infraction, and he's coming back in the coming days, and we're going to expect him to suddenly have seen the light or suddenly not have another transgression like that? I think that's foolish to think.
I don't expect that. I don't expect anything. Here's what I expect. I expect Steph Curry to look better because he always does. Plays better with Draymond Green because there's no human being on earth that knows Steph's tendencies and needs more than Draymond Green. And if you think that there's anything in the world more important than that to the Warriors organization, then I got issue with your opinion.
Well, I'll tell you what I expect. I expect Draymond Green to come back and get a technical foul within the first maybe 2 games. I give him a game grace.
That'd be funny.
I think an opening possession, if I'm Draymond Green and I'm thinking like Draymond in terms of I'm going to be the way I'm going to be. And he said that, right? Draymond has said.
He said that after Rudy. He has not said.
And that was a long time ago.
That was a long time ago.
Oh, boy. That was November 14th.
No, he's been silent.
That was,
he's been silent since he got suspended this time. He has to be.
Of course. Of course. Yeah. That was 7 weeks ago. Rudy Gobert.
Look, the league has plenty of power here. And they're pushing. He's under their thumb. And
right, but how has he ever responded to being under anyone's thumb?
He's never been threatened like this before. His career's on the line. His legacy's already damaged. His relationship with this fan base is forever damaged.
His legacy is solidly intact, and he's a 4-time champion, and he's made hundreds of millions of dollars.
It's been changed. Well, that was already true.
Right.
So I don't
think that he wakes up and goes, geez, man, it's all or nothing.
Stop. Nobody does that.
Right.
Like, if that was the case, these guys would all already be retired. Why does he care? Legacy's intact.
Oh, he loves the game.
So maybe Draymond does too. He thinks he does. Actually, I know he does.
Right.
He plays it a different way, but that's not a thing for me. Like, oh, they've got enough money and titles. They're still, like Tom Brady, they're maniacal. Right?
Of course,
they're going to be. They're going to keep pushing, and let's not act like Draymond's got nothing to lose here. The NBA can take his career away, and that matters. That matters to him.
Sure.
I do think that Draymond Green is actually going to there's going to be something different when he comes back.
So first time
He has to.
he comes back and he plays, and there's a call that goes against either him or a teammate.
But
and
talking to a ref, that's fine. He can get a technical.
Of course he
He's
can.
not going to hit anybody. He's not going to hit anybody. I don't think he's going to hit anybody.
He's got an opponent going to the hoop, and he wants to go up and challenge and be physical and challenge the opponent. He's going to go up and play the same way?
You can be physical and challenge an opponent. You just can't punch him in the face.
Right.
You can't. You can't kick him in the jimmy.
You can't hatchet a guy in the head.
Can't do it.
Right. I just think
season over.
I think that Draymond Green comes back and he knows only one way to play, and it's the way that he played coming out of Saginaw at Michigan State, and it's what made him a Hall of Famer. And for him to be expected to dial it back, let alone turn that off, it's not going to happen.
It's not just a matter of expected, it's demanded.
Well, it's not going to happen.
Then he's gone, so we don't even need to worry about him anymore.
So let's just keep him around for 3.5 more years.
Let's do more Pajemski radio.
Let's do it.
Because he's done if he does it again. Mike and Hayward. Hey, Mike, you're on with Willard and Dibs. What's up?
Hey, I'd like to say that I think the problem with the Warriors that the year that they won it, they were more fundamentally sound when they won it 2 years ago. Their defense was more fundamentally sound. And I think they need to start drafting players like the guy from Santa Clara and the guy from Illinois that are more fundamentally sound. And that's why they're playing, because they're more fundamentally sound. That's why they're getting the time, right? Kuminga is not fundamentally sound. I mean, he'll play well, but he'll miss 5 or 6 free throws in a game, right? That's not fundamentally sound. And as far as Draymond is concerned, just talk about Draymond. They're not going to win no championship without Draymond Green. I don't care if you like it, don't like it, don't matter. He plays best with Steph Curry. He knows the guys, right? The Warriors are not cutting. They're not doing anything to Draymond. Draymond's going to come back and he's going to be fine. Okay, so they know they can't win. Just imagine Draymond playing tonight and guarding the Joker. Now, how would that? How would the Joker feel about that? Ask that question to the guy sitting next to you. It's obviously if Draymond was in the game tonight, that the Warriors would have a better chance of winning the game tonight if he was guarding the Joker.
I agree with that. I mean, yeah, Mike, thanks.
You ask the guy next to him, Mike.
Yeah.
Don't be afraid of me.
We're right here.
It's all right, Mike.
Jokic has said that before, that his most difficult Western Conference matchup as far as the defender is Draymond Green.
Right.
Look, that
Warriors played great that night.
Well,
they had a great opportunity to win that game.
They did. I actually think they're going to win tonight. I think they're going to win the game tonight.
You betting it?
I don't know. I haven't looked at it yet. Probably. No, I probably am. I haven't gone there yet. I usually do that about 5:00.
Nice.
Anyway, yeah. But do they have a better chance tonight with him? Sure, but that's also one game, so that's not even necessarily the larger point. But I'm with him. I think that you have to pick a route here. There are too many Warrior fans, in my estimation, who are obsessed with stop all this Draymond stuff. We've got to focus on the young people. And if that's your opinion, I think that's totally fair. But I'm going to challenge you every time and say, then why should Steph Curry still be a Warrior? Why would Steph even want to be a Warrior? He's not here for this. He doesn't want to be Dame Lillard. He doesn't want a team like that. And so if you're still a Steph Curry fan and you still think that there is juice in the orange in his career, then you don't get to say it's time to turn this over to young players and their development. Those two things are in stark contrast with one another.
Well, you don't have to turn it over to the young guys to be done with Draymond Green. You can trade Draymond Green and you can bring in another veteran piece, which is what they did with Jordan Poole.
You could.
So you want to talk about juice left in the orange. There's more juice in Jordan Poole's orange than there is in Chris Paul's, but the franchise thought that getting rid of Jordan Poole at that point was more beneficial than keeping Jordan Poole. They could have kept Jordan Poole. They had him under contract, and Mike Dunleavy said, Jordan Poole is under contract for 4 more years. They could have kept Jordan Poole.
But
were they forced to trade Jordan Poole?
No, but the two things at play there that are not in play with Draymond Green.
No, the two things that are in play are you have a player under contract and you can either keep him or not keep him.
No, but you trade Jordan Poole because there was a bad locker room dynamic that existed, number one.
Right.
And trading him created financial flexibility in 12 calendar months. Neither
The
of
same
those,
thing exists with Draymond Green.
not necessarily.
Well, you would have financial flexibility.
Again, no,
and
not
we don't know
not
about the locker
necessarily.
room dynamic with Draymond Green.
Who are you getting back to make the salaries match? Is someone going to give you an expiring for Draymond Green?
It's possible.
Maybe.
It's possible.
Maybe.
You were able to do that with Chris Paul. All I'm saying is, if you traded Draymond Green, you wouldn't have to worry about 4 years and $100 million anymore. So to that end, you would have financial flexibility. So if you were able to get an expiring contract, and let's just use Pascal Siakam as an example, and I know the money doesn't match up. There would have to be more involved in it than that. But if you got a 3-month rental in, like you have with Chris Paul, who's a 1-season rental, you have financial flexibility because Chris Paul is coming off the books.
Right.
You would have the same thing with the player you acquired from Draymond Green.
Right. And again, I was
Financial flexibility.
And the Raptors will say no, unless you would like to give us Jonathan Kuminga as well.
Well, maybe you do.
Okay, then maybe you do.
Maybe you do.
But that has got to be added into the conversation. Nobody is taking a call and being like, let's give you this incredibly valuable expiring contract on a really good player for Draymond Green. We're not. There's no incentive for the Raptors to do that. If you want to give us Kuminga, now we're listening.
Well, there are players out there you could acquire.
You all want to give him? You all want to give up on Jonathan Kuminga? You want to do that?
I'm not sure if the franchise does
They
or not.
might.
Exactly.
They might.
And they have a better idea, much like the Niners did with Trey Lance. The Warriors have a better idea about where Jonathan Kuminga is than we do.
Totally. And that's why one thing, if you're a Warrior fan, that I would suggest you watch here in the next week or two is every single move Kuminga makes. Because every move he makes, they're all worth 3. He's got to prove right now. The deadline is coming and Draymond is coming. And if I'm Kuminga, every possession is absolutely vital so that you can send the message that you want to send.